Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to National City Christian Church for our weekly Music at Midday concert. My name is Mike McMahon, and I am the artistic director of the series. It's a pleasure to welcome everyone, of course, but it's especially wonderful to welcome those of you who may be here for the very first time today, and I have met several of you as I've walked around. For those I haven't greeted personally, welcome. We're glad to have you here. The organ here is very significant. You'll see up front here we have this very large instrument, but another rather substantial organ in the back of the sanctuary up in the gallery. And these two organs, although they are can be played independently, can also be controlled from the front console. So you'll hear both organs being played today and sort of enveloping you in the sound here. About 7,500 pipes in all on this organ. So there's plenty of sound. If you want to know more about it, please feel free to come up after the recital, not only to greet Jackson, but also to see the console and kind of get a taste of the many options that the organist has available in creating the wonderful music we're about to hear. There's also a display in the back of the sanctuary, which is also really interesting, with lots of information about the organ, about this organ here at National City, but also about organ building in general and the arts that are involved in creating an instrument like this. This series is self-supporting, meaning that we rely on you to help us keep it going. So if you're able to make a donation by cash or check, we have collection plates here in the front and in the rear of the sanctuary. You can also go online and make a donation at nationalcitycc.org. And we would love to have you on our email list because we do send out weekly notifications about the concerts that we have here on a weekly basis. So if you'd like to be on our email list, there's a form you can fill out also in the front and the back. All we really need is your name and email address, and we're happy to include you in those notices. So we are going to hear today from Jackson Borges, who is here from Statesboro, Georgia. Jackson has played here a number of times. We were kind of counting and thinking it's probably his fifth visit here to National City to play on this wonderful instrument. And I know that you're going to really be wowed by the music that we're about to hear. So please help me now to welcome Jackson Borges.
It is an absolute pleasure to be here in our nation's capital again. I want to extend my own welcome to you here in this magnificent space, as well as everyone who is tuning in online. And I know we have folks that are watching from as far east as Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, and as far west as Fallbrook, California. So, hi, Mom. It is always an honor to be here, but especially an honor to play for my friends, of which so many are here today, from Richmond, Virginia, from right here in Washington, D.C., by way of San Diego, from Chevy Chase, Maryland, and all points in between. So I add my own welcome to you on top of Mike's. So today, I really have no special reason for playing all Guilmant, other than its marvelous music, on this instrument especially. So we begin with a one-off piece that exists in multiple forms, but started out life as an organ solo piece and an organ and orchestra piece, although the information that I found, nobody seems to know which one came first. So here's this fun little romp, the Finale à la Schumann by Félix-Alexandre Guilmant. Why, thank you. As I was preparing this music, I thought really unintentionally that work and the works the piece to come, this is a great sonata in D minor, number 1 of Guilmant, is really a study in symphonic form. In addition to my work as a recitalist and a church musician, I am honored to be an adjunct professor of music at Georgia Southern University in Statesboro, Georgia. Go Eagles. And right now in my music theory class that I teach, we are talking about form. So if any of my theory students are listening right now, be prepared for Monday morning. We may be looking at these pieces. And really this amounts to being a very nice rounded form. The first piece you have your opening material, a secondary theme, and then the two themes are combined in the end. Now, the sonata in D minor, probably one of, if not the most popular work by Guilmant, is a glorious piece in and of itself. And it is a perfect example of symphonic writing and form. So at the beginning you have this grand introduction where you hear, and I tell you, you hear all of the organ in this piece. It gives way to your main theme, which is stated in the pedal. And after that, we hear a secondary theme, and then the themes get passed around until they're combined in a fiery conclusion. The second movement is a beautiful pastoral, which is very, very special to me because it was the prelude for my wedding, which happened almost a year ago this month in Statesboro. So it's a very beautiful piece, and it focuses on the oboe and the clarinet stops and the vox humana stop. And you may be saying, hey, JB, but don't pastorals and shepherds play the flute? And I would say, well, normally yes, but evidently not in France. Evidently they play the oboe in France, which is fine. That's fine. I like the oboe too. So you hear, we go from the grand, glorious, majestic sounds that all of these 7,500 pipes have to offer, and then dramatically come down to this beautiful, lilting, and intimate pastoral. Well, that gives way to the finale, and it is yet another example of rounded symphonic writing. You start with a very fiery and flashy toccata movement, virtuosic, lots of stuff happening in the manuals, and then you have a secondary theme again, and those themes are interwoven, and the whole thing ends as any great symphony movement does, in a blaze of glory. Now, in this space, the greatest stop that this organ has to offer is the room in which it is housed. And as you can hear, we have a wonderful live acoustic. And for us organists that get to play in an acoustic like this, there's no more fun than we can have than letting the full colors of a grand instrument such as this come out. So that being said, sit back and for the next 20-25 minutes or so, enjoy this glorious sonata in D minor by Guilmant. It also exists in an organ and orchestra form as his Symphony No. 1 for organ and orchestra. And I have tried to include some more symphonic sounds. In the first movement, you will hear a harp, for example, and all the sounds you hear are real. There are no digital stops or digital sounds that are made in this organ at all. So we actually do have tubular bells behind me that imitate a harp sound. So that combined with the gallery organ trumpets, which crown the entire ensemble, you are going to hear this organ and maybe not much else afterward because of it. So, but I assure you, the last 2 pages of the entire sonata are worth the price of admission, as I am fond of saying. That said, I thank you all again for joining us this day in this glorious house of worship to hear this magnificent pipe organ. I believe that a great city is judged on a great many things, and not the least of which is its commitment to the arts. So, if I may echo what Mike said in his introduction, if you are able, please give generously to programs such as Music at Midday, as it's not only wonderful for people like me to have experience to play in a place like this, but we do this for you. We do not do this really, or shouldn't be doing it for our own glory, but for the betterment of the art and the furthering of culture in a place like this. So as Amy Semple McPherson said, we appreciate the stuff that jingles, but we really want the stuff that folds. So, shameless plug on my part, but I'm leaving right after, so what do I do? So, thank you all so much. Now on to Sonata No. 1 in D minor.